buy your way into Superhost or price yourself up to it. It's not. It's literally this tool is based on you rating your clients, your guests, and them rating you. So, if they leave my home in a mess and they aren't a good guest, they get a bad rating. And if they get a bad rating, the next person isn't going to want to host them. Same thing with me. If my guests do not like my property, they're going to ding me. So to get that 5-star, 10 consecutive 5 stars is really difficult to do. So I set out to really set the bar high for this property. I may have spent a little bit more than I had initially planned to, but I think it paid off in the end because it generated a lot of really great comments. And I don't think if I had set it up as well as I did, I don't think I would have gotten that Superhost status. Because when I walked into bed and breakfast, I was always like, where's the coffee? Where's the creamer? Sometimes you get in at 8:00 at night and there's nothing, and it's just a bare bones basic property, and you're tired, you've been traveling, and all you want is water or a soda or just a little snack or something. So I provide those little extra things that would make me feel at home and comfortable. And that would be how I would say for you to look at it. You're a traveler, you know what makes you feel comfortable. Put those same things in your property. I think it goes a long way. I've got decaffeinated coffee. I've got all kinds of different brands of coffee. I've got hot chocolate for the kids. All those little things that seem tiny make a difference when you're walking in at 10 o'clock at night and you're exhausted. So I really tried to think of those things when I was setting it up. To kind of give you the breakdown on how my first year went is we didn't get the property ready as fast as I wanted to. I was wanting to really get there before the season hit, but we got there in May. So I missed out on some of the earlier bookings that I could have. So in 2022, we got there in May and had it on the market in May. And from May to September, which we're kind of seasonal down here because it gets cold, I made $35,000 my first year. Now, I learned a lot, so I have full expectations to double that this year. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to have a longer booking period, and I'm now a Superhost, so I'm going to get more traffic to my site. So as of right now, as of March, I already have had 12 reservations and about $8,500 just so far this year. So I'm well on my way to hitting that goal. It actually helped us, it paid for itself. I was able to get a boat out of the deal, still made a profit in my first year. So it accomplished all the goals that I set out for myself with that property. Because it went so well, I did set a goal for the next 3 years. I would like to have 6 units in the same complex. And I'll tell you why I don't want to spread out too far. I've got a pretty good operation set up here with the cleaning crew, with plumbers, with electricians, with HVAC people. I've got my contacts. I do not have a management firm helping me with this because that just cuts into your profits. So when you're first starting up, what I would recommend is to have some place that's somewhat close to where you're at. Back when I was living in Kansas City, we were 3 hours away. It was still close enough that if something happened, I could get down there if I needed to. It wasn't in Florida. It wasn't in Texas. It wasn't somewhere that I'm too far away to react to it. So I would say start close, get, your business experience under your belt with how to run these things. And then I will probably branch out at some point, and maybe look someplace down south, maybe Gulf Shores or someplace like that, to have a property for us to maybe go winter in, and then, rent it when we're not there. So that's kind of my goals for setting that up. I wanted to share with you my property and just kind of let you see the site, and then kind of let you take a peek here. So as you can see, I've got the Superhost status. I tried to be as descriptive in everything that I could. It's all about marketing, right? So you're wanting to, show it off and give really great descriptions. So here's the pictures of gives you an idea of the property. So I'm trying to highlight all of the things. It's on a resort style property, and the condos are involved with this hotel that's there, and all the amenities that the hotel has, the condos have. So I tried to show all the things that would make you want to come to this property. It has swim up bar, pool, indoor pool, it's right by the lake. So it may not be like right on the lake, but it has lake access. You just go down the hill and you're there. It has lake views, has restaurants and bars on property. This is actually the unit there. We decorated the outdoor patio area to make it look homey and welcoming. And then as you come into it, this is the master bedroom. Nice little seating area. I created 2 work remote stations because that's a thing now. I have a seating area, and in that master bedroom, I also have a little. You can see there's more of the master. I have a little wine fridge with a coffee bar. So the master bedroom, you don't even have to leave the master bedroom. You can just sit there and enjoy the view because there's a lake view from that window. There's the view. So there's the workstation, more of the master. There's the front bedroom, bathroom. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It accommodates 8 people. There's the kitchen. There's my dining room. Another wine fridge. It cost about, so the unit itself, we paid $200,000 for, and I did put close to $25,000 in decorating into it. But I think that it has made the difference. I get a lot of really great feedback on the decorating. You can charge a higher price when the unit is nice. During peak season, I can get anywhere from $350 to $400 a night. Off season, when it's like dead of winter, I'll charge $125 just to see if people, are interested in coming in. So that kind of gives you an idea of the unit itself. There's the other bedroom. So that kind of shows you kind of what the unit looks like. One of the things I would say is if you're getting ready to start down this path, there's a couple things you can do. If you've got a savings account, you've got the money set aside to purchase, that's great. But a lot of people don't have just that amount of money sitting around to start up a new property. But if you do have a home, you can tap into your home equity to use that to purchase the second home. Another thing that my husband and I are both really big on is financial education. He's a banker as well. You've got to know your FICO scores. You've got to know your income and your budget. You've got to know what to pay off and how to restructure your debt. You've got to have a decent FICO to get the better rate. There's a lot of free advice out there that you can go out there and that will help you to increase your FICO score. I would encourage people to do that. We're looking at our FICO scores every month, and we're talking about our budget every week. And that's one of the things that I try to encourage folks to do is to know where you're at all times. And that's exactly what we did. Is we took the home equity in our home, and we used some of that home equity to buy the condo. And then we'll use some of the home equity that we now have in our lake house, because we bought it on the cheap, and we flipped it. But we not flipped it because we're not selling it, but we remodeled it. It was in pretty bad shape, so we got it on the cheap, but now it's worth about $1 million. So that equity is what we're going to use, as well as the profits from the current property, to then purchase those subsequent properties. So within the next 3 years, we'll be using both, the profit from the current Airbnb, as well as any equity that we might need to tap into. Because it's not just the purchase of the property. You've got to furnish it, you've got to stage it, and that's all the way down to measuring cups, sheets, and that's the whole budget. You got to look at the whole thing. But what I've started, because I'm a super host, and have learned through trial and error, one of the things that I do is I do mentor new Airbnb hosts that are coming on board. So I'm really big on mentoring. So just like when we were at the estate with Dr. Lee, Aaron and his wife, I think they have a really great opportunity there to tap into, and I would really love to spend some time helping them build out their site, give them some pointers on how to get some quick wins and how to start generating some revenue for them so they can start turning around and putting that money and reinvesting it into the property so that they can achieve their vision of what that property can be, which is really an amazing property. So that's really my talk, my presentation, and I'll pause there if anybody has any questions.
Now, I know there's someone out there that has some Airbnb questions, investment property questions, credit score questions, how to get started. I mean, Keely, you did a super fantastic job of covering all the details on the pathway to vacation home ownership. But does anyone
have a quick question?
Additional questions?
I have a quick question.
Yes, Paran.
Have you done any arbitrage short-term rentals at all?
So I'm actually looking into doing some of that. Haven't done it yet. I'm also looking, there's a need down here for just rentals in general. There, because this is such a vacation-centric location, people who are wanting to rent, there's no places for them to long-term rent. And so I'm looking also into multifamily type things as well. So there's a lot of opportunities down here, and I haven't gotten into some of those yet, but they're on that roadmap of things that we're wanting to do. Is there a reason you asked that question? Is that something that you've been interested in?
I was just asking your opinion about it because I know a number of people who do that. That's why I was wondering what your opinion was.
Yeah, I mean, as far as short-term rentals, when you talk about those, I mean, I'm doing the vacation rentals, but I do have an opportunity. There's some traveling nurses that come in down here, and they're looking for like 6-month turnaround rentals. And I've thought about looking into doing that in the off season when I'm not renting it as much for vacations. So haven't done that yet, but I think that's something I'm going to look into. I want the unit to be occupied as much as possible.
Great. Thank you so much, Keely. We really appreciate all the information. And Paran, I think we can turn it back over to you now. You ready to take the ball back, shoot it to you, pass it to you?
Okay. All right. I'm going to change this.
Take control.
Yes. Give me a second.
Okay. All right. Waiting to pass the ball. I'm the quarterback trying to pass it to the receiver.
Okay. Who do we want to pass the ball to now?
Okay. No, you're going to keep it.
We want to make sure our audience. We want to make sure our audience get a chance to speak.
Okay. I'm here. I took control. I'm looking right now. I do not see anyone. I need to